Alright, so Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes 1 and 2 are available on Disney Plus now. I stayed up pretty late to try and watch both, only ended up watching the first, so I watched the second this morning. And so far so good. There's nothing that has happened yet that has completely 100% blown me away, but I am liking it so far. Now, how many episodes are there supposed to be? It looks like 6. Um so yeah, there's only, you know, 4 episodes left after this, which is a little disappointing. I can't lie. I don't know if this show's going to end up getting a second season. I can't imagine it would, but they could possibly set it up for that. But they have so many other shows that they're trying to do where I just feel like doing a second season for this one. I don't know. I mean, it would be cool for sure, but I feel like there's only so much they can do. But they can do it. They can get away with it. That's for sure. We have Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan Kenobi, obviously. And I have to say, Obi-Wan Kenobi is probably my favorite Star Wars character. He always has been and always will be. And Ewan McGregor's portrayal of the character, while I believe Allen Guinness is the original actor for Obi-Wan, while he was great in A New Hope, I just something about Ewan McGregor just really embodies this character for me. Also in the show, we have Moses Ingram as the third sister, one of the members of the Inquisitors. We also have Rupert Friend as the Grand Inquisitor and Sung Kang as the fifth brother. All three of them are members of the Inquisitors, which I don't know a whole lot about. All I know is that they just hunt down Jedi, you know. We saw one of the Inquisitors or at least one of the Inquisitors in Jedi Fallen Order, the game, which I thought was a really spectacular game. And I mean, Hayden Christensen is supposed to be in the show as Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. I'm excited to see that. And that's the biggest like spoiler in the IMDb section that I'm going to give away, is that Hayden Christensen is supposed to show up in the show, which a lot of people already knew, especially if you watch the trailers. But yeah, I'm excited. Last night before the show or the episodes came out, I was watching some interviews with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen just being together, and I was just like, just the fact that they're together again is so cool to me, and it makes me even more excited for the show and the possibilities that lie ahead. First episode, there are definitely some tense moments, but it is a slower episode, just kind of setting up where Obi-Wan is in his life. This takes place 10 years after after Order 66, which, if you don't know, is the event that wiped out most of the Jedis. And I mean, there's some pretty impactful scenes in here, and there's some really dark and violent scenes as well. One person's hand ends up getting cut off, and these Inquisitors aren't people to fuck with, that's for sure. They're pretty intimidating. Grand Inquisitor Rupert Friend, he's intimidating, but I think the most intimidating one out of all of them is actually the third sister, played by Moses Ingram. She's a little more off the cusp, doesn't really follow orders. She wants more power than she has, and she's pretty interesting for that, for sure. And she really has it out for Obi-Wan for whatever reason, which I'm sure we'll figure out at some point. But yeah, I mean, 10 years after 10 years after Order 66, Obi-Wan is on Tatooine looking over Luke, making sure he is safe, trying to see if he's force sensitive at all, and then planning to train him when the time is right. And he's living with his Uncle Owen and his Aunt Beru, I believe. And then Joel Edgerton plays Owen once again, as he did in the prequel trilogy. And it's just cool to see certain characters that we knew before coming back for this. And then there's certain characters that we knew before that are played by different people for good reason. And I'll get into that in my spoiler discussion. But the obvious one here is Luke. I mean, we saw him in the trailer there. And like I said, Obi-Wan's watching over Luke, so we have a younger actor playing young Luke. And yeah, I mean, so far I'm into it. Obviously we haven't seen much of Luke, because I don't think we're gonna see much of Luke at all in this show. But yeah, I mean, it's obvious, like Obi-Wan, he goes on to train Luke and be his mentor in A New Hope, but it's probably gonna be a while from now, in terms of like, the time between uh Revenge of the Sith slash this show than going to A New Hope. So I don't think we're going to be able to see everything in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, but I think we'll see a decent amount in like what is set up for that to go into that film, I guess. So yeah, Bonnie Pice, probably saying that wrong, is Beru Lars. I don't know if that's the same actress who played Aunt Beru in the original trilogy, but I'm guessing most likely. Yeah, the first episode, a little slow, has some tense moments, but it's really just setting up where Obi-Wan is after, 10 years after Order 66 and what he's doing, and then just kind of setting up the Inquisitors as well. And then the next episode, I can't really talk about at all because it's just a straight up spoiler. If you looked it up on IMDb, you'd be able to figure out what I'm probably talking about, but episode 2 is a pretty great episode. It has some great action, has a few familiar faces in there, maybe not from the Star Wars universe, but just in terms of actors, has a few familiar faces. And yeah, episode 2 was pretty good. And spoiler alert, episode 2 doesn't take place on Tatooine, so that's also another reason to kind of like it. Tatooine does feel different in this show as compared to like Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian because it's a different time period on Tatooine. So it's a little more intriguing there, but we've seen Tatooine way too many times. It's starting to get annoying. So it's nice that this show is kind of taking you other places. And it looks like they're kind of going to be doing that going forward with that indoor trailer, which looks pretty good, by the way. Wasn't really going to make a huge deal out of it on the podcast or in any of my videos, but it does look like a good show. And it looks like it's going to take us different places in the Star Wars universe, as will this show. Yeah, so far so good with both of these episodes. I really have no complaints. I'm just excited to see where it goes. I wish there were more than just 6 episodes, especially after having 2 episodes released at the same time. There's only 4 left after that. But there's also a lot of other things to watch right now. I thought The Boys was coming out this week, but I guess it's not. It's going to be like next week, I think. So it gives me time to finish Stranger Things, which that'll take me a while. Don't expect a whole lot in terms of content this week because I'm mainly just going to be watching Stranger Things. Each episode's like over an hour long. It's a lot to get through. But yeah, Obi-Wan, I'm very excited to see where this show goes. Ewan McGregor, like I said, is one of my favorite adaptations, if not my favorite adaptation of Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan is my favorite Star Wars character. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where this show goes, and I'm excited to see him go up against Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, which will be so freaking cool. So cool. And I'm wondering if they're going to have James Earl Jones as the voice, but like, Hayden Christensen underneath, Because I feel like we can't have Darth Vader without that classic voice. But we will have to wait and see. And now I'm going to get into some spoiler territory, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, I would suggest if you're watching on YouTube, click off the video. And if you're on the podcast, this will probably be the first thing I review, so I'll just try to add a little clip in there saying, oh yeah, just skip ahead however many minutes. But the spoiler talk won't take long. Don't have a whole lot to say. But yeah, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, then you have been warned because I'm starting that now. Biggest spoiler here, Leia Organa. Young Leia. I believe we saw her in the first episode. Yeah, we saw her in the first episode. And she ended up getting kidnapped by one of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Flea was in the show. Pretty cool. She ended up getting kidnapped. I forget exactly what planet they took her to, but we met, and I'm just talking about both episodes here, but we met Kumail Nanjiani, which I think his name was like Haja something. He was claiming to be a Jedi, but he wasn't. He was just using magnets and shit, but he ended up helping Obi-Wan in the end, which I was just like, hell yeah. Hopefully we see more of him in the future. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it was just a cameo, but says he's going to be in 5 episodes, so that'd be cool if he shows up again. I really do like Kumail Nanjiani. He was my favorite part of Eternals, that's for sure. And I did not like that movie very much. But yeah, Inquisitor Reva now, because I'm pretty sure she's going to become the Inquisitor after killing the Grand Inquisitor. She's a pretty good villain so far. She's intense. She's, you know, she's willing to do whatever she needs to do to capture Obi-Wan or any other Jedi for that matter. She is dedicated to her work, and she's very angry too. And I don't know exactly why she's angry at Obi-Wan. I don't know if there's like some past they have there, some history, but interested to see what the explanation there is. Obi-Wan at the very end of episode 2 learned that Anakin was still alive. I guess they didn't know that Anakin was Darth Vader, which is so cool that they get to figure that out. I mean, I kind of wish in a way he would have figured it out when he actually met Darth Vader rather than Reva telling him. But the reveal is still cool. Him realizing that Anakin is still alive and that Anakin, I don't know if he realizes he's Darth Vader yet. I think he does. But we get to see one final shot in the second episode of Anakin Skywalker looking all bald and got tubes connected to him and shit. Doesn't look anything like Hayden Christensen, but I'm pretty sure it is. I'm excited to see Darth Vader going forward. You know, Darth Vader's one of those villains that's like one of the most classic villains in movie history, yet at the same time, it feels a little cheap to use him. Maybe not for this, because it makes sense to use him in this, but for a lot of other properties, it's just like, yeah, you're just throwing Darth Vader in there to try and appease more people towards this. I mean, he was great in Rogue One. That scene in Rogue One was amazing. But other than that, any other scenes that they really added with Darth Vader in Rogue One, I was just like kind of, I feel like, you know, it makes sense canonically to have him at this time. But it also feels like you kind of just added him to make people want to see it more. But that's just me personally. But it makes sense for Darth Vader to be showing up in this show. And I'm happy that Hayden Christensen is playing him rather than just, you know, having somebody in a suit and then doing James Earl Jones's voice. Which, again, I'm really curious if James Earl Jones came back to voice Darth Vader in this. I would hope so, because it would just sound weird if it was Hayden Christensen talking, but maybe they could work something out. I don't know. I do not know. But, yeah, really not a whole lot in terms of spoilers. I mean, it was cool to see, and I can't even remember his name, but Princess Leia's dad, not her actual dad, obviously, but like her adopted dad, something Organa. It's cool to see that actor show up again. He was in, is it like Jimmy Smits or something like that? I need to look it up because that's going to bother me, actually. All cast and crew. Let me see. Hopefully they list him on here. There's a good chance they won't. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Let me look him up. Jimmy Smits. That's what I thought. Who does he play? Bail? Yeah, Bail Organa. He also showed up in the Heights, which was one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie from last year. And he was also on Brooklyn Nine-Nine for a bit. I think he was the father of, oh shoot, what's her name? Andy Samberg's girlfriend in the show. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, he played her father in there. But I like that actor a lot. He's really cool. Jimmy Smits is awesome. He is the man. But yeah, the whole second episode is a lot about Leia and just like Obi-Wan trying to help her. Leia not really trusting him. You know, her thinking, oh, is this guy a Jedi? But like not really showing his Jedi powers and stuff like that. I was really hoping he was going to use his lightsaber in episode 2, but that didn't happen. But he did use the Force, so that was pretty cool too. I mean, at least we got that. We'll get the lightsaber eventually, but I think in the previous episode, he like went out into the desert because he was telling that one dude, you know, go take your lightsaber, bury it in the desert, and just try to lay low. And he opens up the box. There's 2 lightsabers in there, And that's because obviously one of them was Anakin's that he goes on to give to Luke. And I was just like, oh, lightsabers. I love lightsabers. We don't see a whole lot of that anymore, especially in the TV shows. Like, the most we get is like the dark saber in Mandalorian and in Book of Boba Fett. So we haven't really seen any other lightsabers aside from that one. And, you know, in the first episode, we had like the whole recap of the entire prequel trilogy. And a lot of it was, maybe not a lot of it, but quite a bit of it was like kind of in a way narrated by Mace Windu. So I'm really wondering if Samuel L. Jackson will show up in this show as Mace Windu. You know, a lot of people think he's dead, but a lot of people also think he could be alive and could come back in the show. So I'd be very, very excited if he did. That'd be so cool. Like an older Mace Windu, like kind of a war hero, like a battle, just like a, you know, a badass, you know? I think he could be at that point in his life where he's just like, you know, he got fucked over so hard, but at the same time, it just made him a hardened badass. I could definitely see that. But maybe we'll see him in this show. Maybe we won't. There's already I mean, there's only going to be 6 episodes. We only have 4 episodes left at this point. And there's so much they could do, but you got to also ask, should they do it? Because it'll feel crammed. And I don't want to have a repeat of Book of Boba Fett. I did not like that show whatsoever. And if this show at all has an episode without Obi-Wan, I'm going to be a little pissed. But yeah, so far so good with this show. That's all I really have to say about it. Like I said, didn't really have a whole lot to say in terms of spoilers. But if you want more of a breakdown, you know, new rock stars, they'll most likely be making a video pretty soon on both of these episodes, breaking down all the Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to go check out that, go over to New Rockstars. They always have great breakdowns and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? For me, I liked it a lot. I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. And it has a lot of potential, but I just have to see where it goes because we've been steered wrong before, not only with the movies, but the TV shows as well. So, yeah, we'll just really have to wait and see. But like I said, that's all I got for you guys. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Pop Culture Podcast. If you're listening on the podcast, sorry, you're probably going to hear that more than once. But if you're on YouTube, peace out. Keep a eye out for my next video, which should be Stranger Things related. Probably, I don't know. I'm probably going to wait until I finish the whole first season for that. So it'll probably be a minute until my next video. Maybe by like Thursday or Friday. Could be sooner. I don't know. But not a whole lot to talk about this week, but like such a big release this week because, you know, Stranger Things is wrapping up. So yeah, leave a like, comment what your favorite Star Wars property is, like favorite movie, favorite character, any of that. Tell me what you thought about this show so far. And yeah, subscribe as well if you wouldn't mind. I would very much appreciate it. But I will see you guys in the next one.